Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. As you know, as always, we have Ring of Honor with more of Global Wars Cincinnati featuring various matches, of course. We have Billy Starks taking on the IWGP Women's Champion Shooty. We have the Ops in action to take on the members of the Premier Athletes, along with Beef and various other matches. But the main event is the Women's Pure title on the line. Deonna Purrazzo defends it against CML's very own Olympia, which is going to be very, very good. And then we move on with TNA. As you all know, this coming Sunday is Slammiversary, so this is their go-home show. So we will be seeing, of course, preliminary matches before we get to Slammiversary and other things as well. So this is going to be crazy as we go. And then, as always, we wrap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the promotions, the wrestlers, the championships, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers, let's get to it. So, let's begin with Ring of Honor Global Wars Cincinnati. Okay, Ring of Honor Global Wars Cincinnati. We opened up with the AEW National Championship on the line. As you know, Mark Davis has been defending this belt not only in AEW but also in Ring of Honor and other promotions as well. This time he faces Ace Austin. Now, for those who are not been keeping track on Ace Austin's record, he was, of course, undefeated in Ring of Honor. So basically, he hasn't lost a single match. But man, this match was incredibly good because it showed he was determined to beat someone who is a bit more bigger. And of course, there were many times Ace Austin was about to apply the fold until, of course, Mark Davis applied the pile driver onto him. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have women's tag team action. We have Lacey Evans and Viva Van versus Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron. Now, if you guys notice, people would say it's a Global Wars, man. Many of you may not know Lacey Lane has Filipino, of course, in heritage. Viva Van, her family is originally from Vietnam. Well, Mina, we all know she's from Japan, and of course, Harley Cameron is from Australia. And I thought it was a perfect match. It's a pretty good one, not gonna lie, really amazing. But it was Harley Cameron who picked up the win when she applied her finishing move onto Lacey Lane, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was awesome. But however, what was funny is when Ian Riccaboni mentioned her finishing move, Caprice Coleman was like, "What's the name of it?" And he doesn't get the point. That's the name of it, her finishing move. I thought it was hilarious that he didn't even caught on to that, but it was great. Now, our next match, we have Billy Starks taking on the IWGP Women's Champion Shooty. Now, this is a non-title match, in case you want, but I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Starks is doing it to get revenge for Athena for losing that one match. But however, of course, she was trying to do something. She did something she should not have done. She spit at Shooty, and Shooty did not take that kind of like you woke up a sleeping giant and she's about to kill you. But unfortunately, Billy actually had to learn the hard way after she got submitted into a submission and had to quit just like that. I'm sure she should have known better. You cannot beat someone like her who is far more good in submissions. Now, last week, as we saw Action Andretti lost in the three-way match for the Ring of Honor World Television title. Now, of course, he did stated that he felt that Lio Rush had no business at all to be involved in this match. He felt that he was cheated out. But however, he did give Lio Rush a bit of an advice to keep that belt warm for him until he gets another opportunity. So the real question, when will that happen? Well, we don't know. But I think many of us are questioning, what does Lio Rush have in mind now as the current ROH World Television Champion? So we'll just have to wait and see what he does, because I'm sure he'll say, "It's fine." Now, we did see the premier athletes, Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. They team up with Beef. Now, I don't know exactly if he was the right choice to join. But they're taking on a bunch of killers, of course. The Ops, consisting of Hook, Anthony Bowens, and of course the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata. Now, things were looking well. It seems like Beef was in fact getting everything done. But however, at some point, for whatever reason, the premier athletes just left Beef all by himself in a 3-on-1 scenario. But however, Beef, well, let's just say he is refusing to back down from a fight, knowing that he cannot show fear against guys like the Ops. But unfortunately, he ended up being lost when, of course, he got PK'd by Shibata, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, we did get a video message from, of course, Sammy Guevara. Now, of course, as you know, Beast Mortos is still having visa issues, so that means both Sammy and Beast cannot, of course, travel to the U.S. due to Mortos having visa issues, and that's the pretty much thing. However, they said they're willing to defend the tag team belts in CML. It was later announced that he and Máscara Dorada will defend those belts against them, so that's going to be awesome. So they will show that match, of course, next week on Ring of Honor. I'm maybe considering watching some CML for once to see how things, and I think this one will happen tomorrow on Friday, so we'll see. Now, moving on, we have Aaron Solo versus Mikey Nichols. Well, as you probably can guess, Mikey Nichols is a member of the TMDK, so it's making a statement for Zack Sabre Jr. But of course, he defeated him with a singular slam, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Lex Luger had to talk to the current ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Champions, the Outrunners, and Dalton Castle. Obviously, as you all know, they're now targets by Lethal Twist, who are aiming for the belts the entire time. So basically, but there was one thing that Dalton Castle had in mind. What the heck? What the heck? So basically, it's like saying, what the hell? What's your problem? You know, that sort of thing. So obviously, we will see those guys face off each other, but the real question is, when? Now, our next match, we have Hanako from Stardom taking on, of course, she's your queen to be. That's right, Queen Aminata. And I thought it was a pretty good match. Now, of course, we all know Hanako is a powerhouse as we follow her in Stardom, and that sets it up right there too. But however, oh man, Queen Aminata took her head off, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, the Ops, as you know, had a successful win in Ring of Honor, but it seems now they have one thing in mind, and they're calling out the conglomeration. They're asking for in Collision to defend the AEW World Trios titles, and this is something I think is going to be interesting. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have challenged for the ROH World Six-Man Tag Team belts, but it is what it is. Our main event, as you know, we have the ROH Women's Pure Wrestling Championship. Diana Purrazzo defends it against Olympia from CML. Olympia, as you know, she does have a bit of the style of the Pure division, of course, and she fits perfectly. Now, of course, we have seen Diana Purrazzo. Her game plan has always been the type of to make sure that her opponents exceeded their rope breaks, but however that did not happen. We did see both ladies only lost one rope break until Diana Purrazzo applied the Fujiwara armbar, and just like that, it was over. So she retained the championship. So I think many of us are asking, what's next? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So as of right now, we'll leave things as it is with Ring of Honor and move on with TNA Wrestling. Alright, TNA, as you know, this is their go-home show for this coming Sunday's Slammiversary. Now, we opened up with the Broken Hardys, Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero making their presence known. So they talked about, as you know, the Wicked Garden match, and they felt because of that match, they were reborn, and that sets it up right there. And of course, the Righteous trying to claim that they took credit in bringing that side of them out. But however, the system, they're like, shut the hell up. We don't care about you guys, about this whole thing of that. So the reason they're out there, they're trying to claim that no matter what, they're the ones who are still going to be champions. So, and then of course, it turned into a brawl of sorts. Then we did see Daria Ray. Well, as you know, Daria Ray likes to blame Santino Marella for everything for no apparent reason, because she's the one who's a rational person. She thinks that, oh, the world should just act the way it is. No, she's crazy. And then, of course, the Order Force showed up because apparently she had something in mind. She said she wants to put, of course, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I'm referring to Jason Hodge and John Skyler, involved in that match for the TNA Tag Team Belts ladder match at Slammiversary. Now, I don't know what the system would make, but I'm sure the system would think, we don't care. I mean, they have no business at all, but it's going to still be the same results, that sort of thing. Now, Ash by Elegance was supposed to face Mara Shade, but however, people were calling her a mark, and she was having like a bit of a nervous breakdown. So she had M to deal with it. But of course, Indy Hartwell was in fact in commentary, basically making a fun joke out of this, knowing too well that, she is a mark. But however, out of nowhere, Elena Black just showed up. Now, we know that Elena Black had her fair issues with Marsha Day in the past, recently. But of course, she got involved in the match, and put into a no contest. So that he threw the match up. And then, of course, Heather showed up and decided to get involved until Rosemary and Allie showed up. Because as you all know, Rosemary and Allie will be challenging for the TNA World Knockouts Tag Team belt. So that's something we definitely are going to be seeing. Now, AJ Francis, as you know, was in a match against a guy named Manny Lemon. Well, of course, this was going to end with him winning the match. But however, during the post-match, Elijah, of course, showed up and saying that you're nothing more than a fraud, AJ Francis, trying to take away my identity. So he did say he talked to the TNA management and the lawyers. Well, he's going to take back his name and all of it. This is the last thing that AJ Francis wanted, because he wanted to control him. But now, it's not going to happen. Our next match, we have Zaya Brookside versus Harley Hudson. Now, of course, Zaya attacked her before the bell even rung, and it ended with Brookside, of course, defeating Hudson with the Dark Side DDT, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. However, she wanted to punish Hudson even more until Li Yingling showed up to break up the fight. But of course, Xia Brookside left. Now, we did see, of course, a Slammiversary World Title Summit between both Nick Bennett and Mike Santana, along with, of course, Gia Miller and the TNA president Carlos Silva, because as you know, there was a stipulation to mention if they get involved and touch themselves during the summit that, of course, and they had some words to say. Santana had to talk about himself, about his personal life, and all this other things. And then, of course, Nick Bennett acts like he thinks he is far more superior than him and all that stuff. However, when the summit was over, Ryan Mendes showed up and attacked them, and then of course Mike Santana wanted to break him, but however Nick Mendes decided to bust him open with his own title, basically tried to dismantle him. And this is something similar that we saw with NXT with Naruku, tried to ensure that he was given the belt freely, not earningly. That's the type of thing, and his condition was still unclear. Now we did see Moose along with JDC, as you all know, who retired. I think it was last year or so, or earlier this year. He shows up along, and then of course we have Eddie Edwards and his wife Alicia saying a lot of things in that. So they were going back and forth because we know that Moose and Eddie Edwards will deal with each other this coming Saturday and Slammiversary. Now our main event, of course, is a bit of a preview for the Ultimate X match at Slammiversary, and they did mention Amazing Red will be participating in that match. We have Casey Navarro, Fabian Eichner, and Leon Slater taking on Mr. Elegance, Frank Kazarian, and Cedric Alexander. So all 6 of these men will be involved, plus Amazing Red. And I thought the match was pretty good. As you know, there's been fair issues between all of them. But however, it was Frank Kazarian who picked up the win with the jackknife onto Leon Slater, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now Nick Bennett, as you know, went out to claim that Mike Santana is out of action. That it means that by default he is the new TNA World Champion. But however, Ryan Mendes showed up, of course, all beaten up, and it was Mike Santana who was bleeding. So basically, he was getting a bit of revenge, and Nick Bennett did not expect them. So, however, all hell broke loose, and of course, Mike Santana continues to beat the crap out of Ryan, and Nick decided to show up to defend his brother. Well, he brought this mess to himself, and no one seems to contain it. And of course, Carlos Silva and Dario Ray tried to control the situation, but things didn't go according to plan. And of course, people were saying let them fight, and that's how the thing ended. So we cannot wait to see what's going to happen in Slammiversary. So we'll leave things as it is right now with TNA and move on with our last and final thing to wrap up our episode, some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin, as always, with upcoming events with GCW. Now, as you know, on June 27, which is this Saturday, we have the America's Most Wanted in LA. They just announced the GCW Ultraviolet Championship will be defended in a scramble match. Otis Cogar, our current champion, will defend it against Viperus, Mr. Danger, Anakin Murphy, Slade, and John Wayne Murdoch. Then we have the following day in Phoenix, Arizona, Life of Crime. We have another scramble match, but not a title match in case anybody asks. We have Gringo Loco versus Vengador versus L'Esplendor, BYP, Bobby Flaco, and Iron Kid. So that's one right there. And then finally we have, the Coney Island event on July 4th, Bash at the Ballpark. We have Marcus Mathers. He'll be teaming up with Busta and The Brain, Jordan Oliver and Alec Price to take on Lewis Leeds, Junie Underwood, and Flying Ryan. So that's pretty much from the GCW updates. Now we do have 2 more upcoming events. JCW with, of course, the In Our House on the 25th of July. They announced Slade will take on CPA. Well, I'm sure Slade's gonna walk out because Slade is like a dang monster. And then, of course, as you know, we have the SummerSlam event in Minneapolis taking place soon. Well, they just announced Warrior Wrestling will be in Minneapolis on the 31st. Now, they haven't announced who will be participating, but yes, that's pretty much what we do know from there. Now, that's pretty much it for events. Now, let's move on to some developments. Now, for many of you who don't know this, Pro Wrestling Noah's very own and former UFC fighter Ulka Sasaki, well, we were told that he was coming to the U.S. to participate with WWE. It was foretold by a group known as False Finish that he will be appearing in an episodes of in WWE Evolve in the coming weeks. So basically, he'll be starting out there. Don't know exactly if he's going to keep his name or it's going to be a new one. That's one of the things I don't know, but we'll see. Adriana Rizzo, if you guys remember, he was part of the D'Angelo family, of course. She announced on her social media that she is now medically cleared, so she's ready to get back in the ring. I don't know exactly where she's gonna go now in the direction, as you know, the family is done, that sort of thing. So that's something I wonder what the creative team will do now for her. Now, TNA has announced, this was coming from Fightful Select, saying that there's been searching. There's going to be a secondary title for the Knockouts division. As you know, the Knockouts division in TNA is the world title and the tag team. Don't know what the what's going to be the next Knockouts belt. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another X division title. That's the thing I don't know, or another international. I don't know. But anyway, there's gonna be a special tournament for this that's currently in the works. So a lot of plans are being made, and I'm very happy to hear that. I mean, I feel like they do need another secondary title. I don't know. Now, many of you know that Tiger Mask will be retiring at the start of July. Apparently, he went on an interview and told something very interesting. It appears that, well, for many of you don't know this, Hulk Hogan actually did tours in New Japan in the past. He and Antonio Inoki were very tight in the past. Apparently, that Hulk Hogan wanted to start his own promotion, and the person they approached first was Tiger Mask. Now, of course, Tiger Mask, I don't know if he understood English during that time, but yes, so this is information I had no idea about, but yes. Now, as you know, soon there's going to be the new promotion known as Produce. Apparently, the owner just announced that they'll be working with a partnership with Andre Chase. Apparently, he's going to be opening up a wrestling school, and they want to partner up. And that is some excellent news. We know that Andre Chase, as many of you know, was released about a while ago from WWE, and of course, WWE never wanted him to become a wrestler. So basically, he's what really was amazing to hear. He said, "No matter that, pay me less just to keep me as a wrestler." That's something I did not know of him, but it's kind of interesting to hear that now. But now he's doing something great. I can't wait to see what else he's going to do. So I can't wait to follow. So we'll see what happens. But until then, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I do know there's a Stardom event that's going to take place. Can't wait to see that. I don't know what else is going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see. So we'll leave things as that. But who knows? So until then, right now, guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode. So I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.